find time for getaway. Wanna get away with you. Feels like a holiday. I can't spend time with you. It's a fine time for getaway. Wanna get away with you. There's no time when you're out of time. Won't get away for two. Feels like the first time in a long time. I can't spend the time with you. Send love, you got other things to do. Time with me, oh, you never found through. Tomorrow may not find another day. So take the time, show your love, love, love. I'ma get away with you. It's a fine time for getaway. Wanna get away with you. Fine time for getaway. Wanna get away with you. Feels like a holiday. Oh yeah, I can't spend the time with you. Time we have, we spend running through the years. But time is gone, we're beyond the line of tears. No, tomorrow may not find another day. So take the time, show your love, love, love. I'ma get away with you. Wanna get away with you. Wanna get away. Wanna get away with you. Wanna get away. Wanna get away. I wanna get away. Wanna get away with you. Wanna get away. I need to get away. Wanna get away. Oh, I need to get away. Wanna get away with you. Wanna get away. I need to get away. Wanna get away with you.
Welcome to the Sound Underground at Heid Music. We are excited to have a very, very special guest. We have Copperbox, Wisconsin's own polka-zydeco, amazing amalgam of musical adventures. Thank you guys so much for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
We've got Danny and Michelle Jerabek, Dan Cable and Dave Jerabek. Congrats on the Whammy Award.
Thank you.
That's a nice feather in the hat for a 20-year career. And you guys have a huge, diehard following in Wisconsin. What is keeping that scope of people so enthralled with you and like excited at your shows and hyped. What does that mean to you guys?
It means a lot because without them obviously showing up to all the shows and commenting on all of our social media stuff, life would be boring for us, just playing music, because you need that energy going back and forth, whether it's virtual or at live shows. But they're awesome and they're authentic. And we always look forward to seeing, oh yeah, we're playing this show. And last time these people showed up, like we can't wait to see them again, or something funny, that we exchanged. Like it's always a good laugh, good hoot.
And they love to dance. I think as a musician, when you see the audience like moving and getting into the music, it makes it that much more gratifying as a musician to have that connection.
Absolutely.
With all the dancing and the rowdiness that everybody is aware of at a good Copperbox show, what does set list building look like for you guys? Is there a set list?
Yes.
Is there transitions rehearsed? How much of this is just whatever you guys are in the mood for, whatever the crowd's in the mood for, and like how do you prepare for that? To what degree do you prepare for
You
that?
want the honest answer, Dave? Go for it, because Dave's got.
We try to stick to a set list because it just makes it easier for transitions, because Michelle's like playing like 20 different instruments. So when she knows what's coming up, it makes the transition a little bit easier. But it's also fun to like read the crowd too. And if, we had maybe a slow song originally on the set list, if Danny wants to change it up and, give him another Zydeco one, it's nice to have that flexibility to be able to change and adjust to the crowd too.
Thanks for being nice too, but I don't follow the set list. I mean, and it drives the guys nuts.
And
not Dan so much, but Michelle and Dave. Because
what's really funny about it is he'll pass out the set list like right before the show, and we're like, oh, good job on being prepared, Danny. We're really proud of you. And then it's like we're ready to start out the song, and he goes, X that first song.
I'm just not feeling it.
It's got to be, you got to feel, and we look to Danny for what are we doing next?
I mean, I feel like that's something we talk about around here a lot, is being ready to pivot.
Yes.
Ready for whatever's coming at you that day.
Well, I was watching your new, what do I call it? Web
series?
Your web series, yes. And in there, you talked about music being about a relationship with people. So I think it is trying to feed off the energy of others,
Absolutely.
right? And give the crowd what they're going to do to feed your soul back, so you can kind of keep that reciprocal relationship.
Yep, exactly.
So then, Michelle, let's hype up your business card of instruments on stage for a minute. For those who are tuning in right now but somehow haven't witnessed a Copperbox show, what is on stage with you that you are playing on a given night?
I basically just have a tenor saxophone, Gretsch guitar, and then a flute and a washboard. But actually, Danny is way better at multi-instrumentaling everything, and has his arsenal with a sousaphone and a cornet and a harmonica and a penny whistle and accordion. But he could also bring the reed instruments and any of these guys. Dave plays a ton of instruments too. So I'm basically just trying to keep up.
But it's still, it's a stage full of pantomaths who just all cover everything with an incredible virtuosity.
A litad bit of ADD, I feel like I can't stick with one thing, I got to keep my brain going.
It's great to bring all of those things but right at the end of the night though, I mean, it's like, oh, we got to pack this off.
Every night you're making peace with do I want to own a sousaphone?
Well, and then it's like some of those hot summer nights trying to keep the horns in tune. It's like, oh, I got to pull out a little more. Or those cold fall nights where we're playing some German festivals, push in a little more, pushing the mouthpiece, the tuning slides, all that stuff.
And you can only fit so many instruments in the van too. But it's nice to have all these different instruments. It creates a different sonic palette, keeps all the songs not sounding the same, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Visually keeps people curious too, because they see you guys changing all this stuff and swapping and switching all night.
Yeah. And it's very handy, I might add, to have somebody who knows how to repair things quickly too, because with all those instruments comes a lot of maintenance, and you got to make sure that they're in playing condition, especially in the summer when we're rolling a lot of shows.
Oh, yeah.
Since you all have multiple instruments that you've done, are any of them newer to you? Meaning that you've only picked up that instrument in the last 3 to 5 years, that you've tried or expanded your musical playing horizon?
I don't know. What's the newest thing to the band is probably my cigar box guitar, which I always tinkered with the guitar, but your drum pad is new too.
Yeah.
We're getting up in the current age now with our polka rock sound with drums, too. So that's kind of cool.
I bought a pedal steel guitar.
That's right.
Knee levers. Well, I haven't brought it on a show yet, but still tinkering around with that thing. But
I think it's just fun, right? Because I think that there's times when people will say, oh, I always wanted to play blank, or I wish I would have tried this when I was a kid. And they don't think that actually as an adult, we should still keep having this vast interest in being exposed to different things and not to be fearful of it.
Absolutely.
Right?
To have that kid mindset, like, I'm going to try this. We have a friend that is in her 60s and she's just like, I just picked up the violin. And we're like, go for it. Because if you feel it in you that you want to play music, like, you're never too old or young, to just
Absolutely.
enjoy it. And if you have to play it, or if you want to dance or just listen, like, it all plays a part in the ecosystem of music.
How many people have come up to us too and they said, oh, I used to play the saxophone, or I used to play drums, and it's like, what about now? Go out and buy one, pick up something. Man, we're only here for a really short time. So music feeds the soul, feed it.
And music's all relative too. So once you know one instrument, you can start to apply those music theory concepts to those other instruments. So you learn a scale, then figure out the fingering pattern for that particular instrument, and then just start to apply it. And it's amazing. Like, once you learn one instrument, it can just cascade into a bunch of others. So
From an origin story, though, what did you all start playing like as kids? What was your first instrument?
tuba.
Drums. Then
Drums.
guitar.
Okay.
I wanted to be a drummer, and my dad said, Michelle, you need to learn to read music, because I was just playing by ear at that time. So that was my middle school job. I was a drummer with the polka bands in Wisconsin.
I was a drummer, and then my dad said, you have to play the accordion, because that's what my grandfather wanted. So I'm like, okay. So started playing a couple songs, and darn it, I liked it, so I kept playing it. And,
Well, now I do need to sneak it in, since it's kind of being implied here. So in other words, there was assignments to instruments a bit.
We had a lot of instruments in our basement, because I grew up in a musical family that all played polka music, and it wasn't, when are you going to play it? It was, what are you going to play? Just pick something. It's all downstairs. So one of my favorite things was my mom couldn't stand the sound on the first floor of the house. So if you were going to practice, you had to go to the basement, so she could, a little bit easier on the ears. And that happened to also be the timeout place. So I loved, like, Michelle, you're in a timeout. Yes. Let's go downstairs and play.
yeah, being as kids, I was always down in the basement jamming on horn, saxophone, trumpet, clarinet. And I was never told you have to practice. Like, they would be yelling down the stairs, shut up, at like 9 o'clock at night. Dave probably remembers that. I would always be tooting on something. Please, for the love of God, shut up,
People are trying to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
And our parents love polka music too, but it's everybody needs a little break at some point, I guess.
I just loved it. I just wanted to learn more, just soak it in. I couldn't get enough. Yeah. What about you?
My dad was a player, so there's drums and guitars all over the house. And I just loved the drums. He'd bring me to gigs and just fascinated with them.
So all your parents were quite instrumental.
Absolutely.
In how you got started, it sounds like, and deep roots of family music.
Is that getting carried on in the next generation? Whose kids are playing instruments in band right now?
My oldest, DeDe, she plays oboe in the Winneconne High School band. She also plays piano. Is not really keen on the spotlight, so she definitely loves music, but if I ever try to get her on stage or perform in front of people, she kind of shies away from it. But it's so awesome that she has that love of music. And my middle child, Gretel, plays the bass guitar in the band and jazz ensemble. And my youngest, Liesel, plays the trumpet and is learning French horn now, going into 7th grade. So hoping about some college scholarships for that French horn.
French horn, yeah, something like that. French horn or the bass clarinet. Those are the big bucks.
Yep.
Bassoon, yeah.
My son, Ben, plays a guitar, and he's a fantastic player.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
And how old is he?
Today, he's 15.
Oh, he is?
Well,
Happy birthday.
I have a daughter that just turned 17 today as well. So.
Wow.
Danny and I have 3 children, 2 daughters that are older now. And Shaylee is our oldest. She played piano and flute, did the musicals, fantastic voice, a great pitch. She's 24 now, and we can't we gave her a guitar for Christmas and she's like, thank you. But it's been sitting there. I don't know. She lives in Colorado. So we're thinking that, she does write songs and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. But she likes to do it on her own time and not as busy as we are because our kids kind of boycotted that, having so much music around. Our second daughter used to play clarinet through high school and she kicking and screaming, it was band or choir. It was hard to do both because of sports and everything else. And the commitment that they put on kids nowadays with foreign languages, it's just a lot to cram into one school day. She was more in it for the party. And she said, at first, we made her do it, and she was kind of boycotting that. But senior year, she's like, thank you guys so much for making me take band, because in band, that was where all the fun was in high school. The marching bands, the solo ensembles, she met a lot of her friends.
Close friends yet.
In there
too.
and had
Yeah.
the most memories in band. If we can get her she's 21 now, so if we could get her to bust out that clarinet, that would be awesome. And then we have a son who's 9, and he just got his first electronic drum set from my uncle that had it laying around under the condition that he learns to play a polka at the end of July. He's got to perform one song. So he's been working on that. It's great because you can put headphones on. So it's like Step Brothers up in his room,
And Dale.
And then last year at age 8, we started him on piano lessons.
Nice.
So he's doing some good stuff there.
We
really
highly
proud.
recommend that to all parents that are watching piano lessons. It's awesome. Everything locks in, theory, pitches.
Just from a visual standpoint, for learning music, piano, you can see the entire range of pitch. And so it just makes understanding melody and chords and all that stuff a lot easier.
So with legacy of stuff that music has been so much of a thread through generations for all of you, and especially Dave, with you being a band director on this platform, you kind of inspired me with your remark, Danny, about if any parents listening, get your kids in piano. It's so useful. It's so important. And let's take that one step further. As a band director, talking to all the parents and all the decision makers, what do you need to make music more a part of every kid's life and every family that's got the opportunity? And how can you make it more of an opportunity for them?
I guess you don't sell them on the promise that, you're going to be a professional musician, or just do it for the love of it. As Dan and Michelle said, to the social aspect, being in a band or choir is kind of, you gain some of your best friends too. So there's a benefit in it from that aspect too, but learning skills of practice habits, things like that can be beneficial. So beyond just a music standpoint, there's so many benefits to being in a music ensemble that extend just beyond just the music theory concepts. So
Yeah, something should make you happy.
And also from like a coaching aspect, it's like, man, for kids anybody to realize that if they can't do something, it doesn't mean you can't do it. It means you can't do it yet. And when they figure out that they pass that threshold, something ignites them and it carries on beyond music.
That's awesome.
Which is really important. And some people can experience that in sports and other ways, but music definitely is one of those things where, I did it. You feel great when you actually can pull something off that you couldn't a week ago.
In Jason Kelsey, he's this all-pro center for the Philadelphia Eagles who just retired, but in his retirement speech, he made a specific shout out to his high school band teacher. And one of the things he mentioned is the skills that his band director taught him about taking a concept slow, slowing it down, mastering it, building up the speed to it. And he's applied all those concepts to his football career. And that's supposedly what made him such a great athlete. It's one takeaway, I guess you can.
Learning how to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay grounded. Yeah. Work hard.
I'm going to pull that clip for my son Otto, right? They kind of need some different parts of other people telling them and influence over. Can I pivot for a second? You also, right? So Copper Box is obviously very important to all of you. You've been a part of it for some time, but you also have other day jobs and things that you do. And you have other side projects. I don't know if that's the fair way to say that a little bit. Would you touch on some of those new endeavors that you all have? Because I find it fascinating also watching the web story that I'm going to paraphrase, Danny, but you kind of mentioned you're in this like new stride, right? And I think that that's something that I'm appreciating about this next decade I'll embark on in my life, right? Is that it's appreciation of where we've been, but not thinking we still have so much we can accomplish and do. So I love that you're all working on some new things.
I'll go first, I guess. We have a lot going on, but as we're all part of Copperbox and promoting fun and music and everything that Copperbox is about. After 20 some years of doing this, I was like, what else? I feel like I'm missing another piece. And I really wanted to just kind of showcase a different light of my musical stuff. So I started kind of a solo project with my husband, Danny, just where I get to sing everything and kind of direct a little bit more.
And I don't.
And have a set list. And, so that is...
Yeah, she's writing out the set list, and these are the songs we will play.
So that is a side project developing. It's called Michelle LL. It's going to incorporate a lot of things with music, but also like coaching.
And that extends because Copperbox can be like these genres, but I think the Michelle LL stuff is definitely more singer-songwriter, James Taylor, Van Morrison type stuff, which is really cool to showcase that stuff.
Definitely. We have tons of original songs that Danny's like, I can't play them. It just, we don't have the right, we need more people or it's just not the right gig for that song. And it's breaking my heart because these songs are in this book for 20 years. It's like, okay, this is like my goal is to uncover these and work with them a little bit more if they need to be worked out because it's always been on the back burner. So it's hard to do, keep digging away at that, but that's my goal.
My main side hustle when I'm not playing accordions is I'm fixing them. So I tune accordions and repair
that's
keys.
possible? You can tune an accordion?
I mean, it's hard. And I have somewhat of a side solo polka concept, which I haven't done anything in the last 4 years because I was kind of forced to during the shutdown in 2020. And I just rolled the tape and I played all of the parts, trying to sound like an 8-piece German Czech band. And it was a ton of fun, and I think it turned out good. But now I'm just trying to find the time to come out with volume 2 of the Bohemian.
That ensemble, though, is we got a Oshkosh Farmers Market gig coming up.
Yeah, with like the family band, family members. Dave plays the tuba. Michelle plays sax. Your sister Missy plays lead trumpet for us. I played various horns and accordion. Michelle's dad, Ralph, plays drums for us. So it's really, really cool little family band that we'll get to do that maybe 2 to 3 times every year. Trying to keep that, the family gene pool going in. Maybe Bo Man will come up. Maybe Dottie will bring her saxophone. Liesl can bring her trumpet. Dan can bring the marching cymbals. I don't know. Somebody can show up. We need those.
Cable, what have you been working on?
Oh, I'm always busy in my studio. People will send me some of their tracks. I'll play drums on them. Or I'm working with a solo artist.
I should also mention that Dan engineered our latest recording and is going to be doing a lot more because it turned out pretty good.
He is pretty good.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, 1, it sounds really, really good, and 2, he gives us a really good deal. So I mean, that's awesome. Thanks, buddy.
But it's an amazing pro level studio that he has set up, and it's amazing.
Some of the shots I've seen,
photos?
That is an
nice.
envious room.
And he's mixing all the web series audio tracks from the live shows and.
They keep me busy.
Well, yeah, and also Dave mixed some of the Wolf River series that we did, and Dave's wife Dana does the camera work too. So yeah, it's kind of all hands on deck here. Everyone's helping out,
and that's kind of an offshoot of another project that you and Dana do.
Yeah, Fox Menagerie with my good friend Sly Joe. That's been almost 2 years now in July, and it's been a really fun project to be able to work with a bunch of different musicians from the Fox Valley and stuff. So I'm blessed beyond, I don't even know how to say it, but I'm very blessed to have all these different music opportunities and to play with so many great musicians. But obviously my family and DC's amazing drummer. I'm really loving playing with Copperbox.
It's really great to see so many musicians coming together in different ways. So that's what I think is really great to see how we can not all just have our own niche, right? Or seem not competitive, but it's just so collaborative.
Yeah.
It's really a really cool concept.
It is really, really cool because I've played on some of those sessions with Dave and like Joe. Some of the people I just meet for the first time, you know, oh, hi, I'm Danny. We knew of them, or I knew of that person, or they like knew of me. I think Dave meets some of these people.
Yeah,
for
they
the
might be
first
like
time
Joe's
too,
friend
right?
or something. Yeah.
So it is amazing. And 2 hours later, that's a wrap. You know, and then Dave has a lot of work to mix it all down and, you know, edit and find some good parts.
All in the drop of the Winneconne Library.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
With all of that creating between Box, between Michelle, LL, Bohemian, and of course the Copper Box core stuff, that's a lot of distributing too. Really simple question. How do you approach that? How do you make decisions about distribution methods? How are you going to share things? What platforms do we want to use? What are we trying to turn into are we going to turn something into a revenue stream? Are we putting this just out there to gain engagement and listeners? How do you guys like to approach that? Do you have kind of a philosophy about distribution?
I mean, obviously you want to create whatever you want to create first. And then since we've been doing this so long, we do have an email list that really helps and supports and follows the band. And so our first priority is to serve them. Anybody that, you know, you put out whatever it is that you make. And if people like it, great. If they don't, they can move on, you know. But as far as like revenue streams, it'd be great if we could just cut an album and be done with it, right? But I just had somebody commenting on social media, hey, that album that you guys put out, I re-listened, and this song that I forgot or didn't even like hit me the first time, that's a really good song and you guys wrote it, you know, and I was just like, yeah, that's been out for like, you know, 6 years, you know, and it kind of was at the end of the album, you know, the last track of whatever, 10 songs. But as we're moving, we're definitely in a singles platform where you just release singles now. And that everybody streams music. We still produce CDs, but it was cool because a lot of the discovery of, oh yeah, you have to buy the whole album and listen to it. And there's going to be some hidden gems in there. It's not always featuring just one song. So I'm still up and down about like, is it better just to do singles or a full album? And for us, because we're playing live, it really helps to have a tangible CD.
And it does, because we cover some different genres too. So it's like, okay, here's our original kind of medium tempo, you know, song genre, whatever you want to call it, Americana rock, you know, and now here's a nice waltz, you know, or a cumbia, a zydeco tune, you know, polka tune. Singles for us would be pretty hard if like it ever comes down to that in the music world, but otherwise, we just put it out, and it is what it is. But I
Danny,
like the
it is a
full
singles world.
I know.
At least digitally.
But you raise an excellent point because it's like, for better or for worse, at this moment in consumer behavior, it's a singles world. But if you're going to go that extra mile of enabling discovery for people, and if you create this eclectic palette of genres on a record with 10 or a dozen songs on it, you're going beyond the single for people who are adventurous listeners
That's kind of what I'm
are
saying.
like active pursuants of the music they consume, as opposed to just kind of, I'm going to passively take whatever the algorithm sends me today. And like those people exist. And like, I think it's very important for artists to have some tenacity to that idea of like, if we commit to, like you said, make the art we want to make and make sure we're diligent about placing it in discoverable places for people, then somebody who never heard a polka waltz before, you know, some 14-year-old who's never heard a polka waltz before and is like, this is my jam. Like, there you go. You just sparked something that's going to have a ripple effect.
Yeah, it's always kind of special. I think one of our latest releases, Adios Muchachos, on YouTube, has gotten a few comments from Brazil or South America. So it's always kind of neat to connect to, you know, people from all over the world.
Well, I think maybe for 25, you just need a good vinyl release.
Yeah.
Michelle
yes.
talked about that.
I've got a waiting list right now, but it's like, I don't know. And I'm like,
We
yeah,
got
vinyl.
more things to like carry now. You know,
I think the secret is 8-track. Nobody's releasing stuff on 8-track
It's
anymore.
coming back.
I mean,
disc.
unironically, you've seen that there are people like trying to bring back cassette.
Yeah.
And that one still kind of like makes me go, now, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I
could see
buy
the
the
CD,
argument of if you spend thousands of dollars on your rig, the superiority of vinyl. But who's really trying to argue the superiority of like the old cassette? Like, come on.
Right.
Back up
Yeah.
that track again. Man, that was
I'm going
good.
to
Good
go back
one.
to quick that one thing that you said about that person that reached out, right, of an album you released 6 years ago, and then it's like they've just found this song. You know, sometimes maybe it's though that we as humans evolve, right? And so there's things that now resonate to me of certain songs that I heard that probably a decade ago did not, or just certain things that are going on in my life that I'm like, oh, I needed that.
Exactly.
Today. Does that make sense?
DeDe, like
Absolutely.
Just when like I was kind of getting ready to leave and come up here today, I was sitting down at the piano and I was playing songs from a CD from Sunny Days that we recorded 20 years ago. And I think one of the songs that Dave wrote, Finally Found You. So I'm like, da da do da do 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 do. I'm like, oh, that's a good song, you know. And it just it came to me. So that is kind of how it's like, oh, I could see us playing that song. Again, it's nice and poppy. I mean, a lot of Taylor Swift fans would love that.
There you go.
All of us have listened to an album and been like, oh, I forgot about that song. Or why didn't that hit me that way? Very, very true. We've experienced that many times driving on the road and just playing a full album and being like, oh yeah, I love this song. I forgot this one. I really like this.
Exactly.
Well, since that came up, now I'm going to turn that into kind of our wrap-up fun question.
Sounds great.
Is everybody name a song that hits you now in a way that it didn't when you were younger?
So one song that I've listened to a million times, and Danny can attest to this, but it is like my jam, Into the Mystic, Van Morrison. Gets me every time.
You know, I don't have an answer. There's so many songs that not one that's really coming. That's like, wow, that's the song. But I got nothing. You got something?
That's a tough one. I don't really have anything. Maybe I had a hard time when I was a kid understanding the second half of the Beatles. So like maybe Strawberry Fields. Have a different take on it now than when I was a kid.
I don't know. Like as I get older, I resonate more with dad rock. James Taylor, How Sweet It Is. Every time I just hear that song, like I just love it so much. So that one just always seems to put me in a good mood and seems to resonate with me more over the years more and more.
DeDe, do you have one?
I'm going to ponder this one though today, John. I'm going to get back to you on this.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to get
Giving me
back to myself
flashbacks.
on
I'm
this.
trying to
Me
be like,
too. It's
do I
like-
want to go back to like some of my first early concert days with some of my, middle high school friends and think a little bit of John Bon Jovi? Do I want to play into like really I love when I'm listening to some Jason Mraz and like, what it gives me? I know I'm also a dork right now listening to mantra loops in the morning. So I don't know. You've like got this mashup going in my head that I just can't make a decision
Yeah,
on.
me too.
I just thought of one. We all hit ages where nostalgia means something different to you, where it's not about the novelty of vintage or nostalgia. It becomes that like, oh, I remember feeling young and safe. And 80s George Strait hits me in a really deep core memory place now because I think of like
playing pool
with
my dad and grandpa in the basement and listening to oceanfront property on the turntable. And
it's not so much the song itself, it's more just kind of like the core memory attached to it of like, oh, everything was fine.
We get a lot of that with polka music. Like it brings people back to their grandparents. And those songs resonate for us too, because it does hit a nerve right close to the heart. And
all the Friday night fish fries and VFW parties.
those good memories.
There's some old Czech tunes that when I'm just sitting in my front window drinking some coffee or like something and just playing my like button box, I get teary. Man, it does. Music is so powerful. It's crazy.
And it reminds you of friends that, might not be with us anymore either, like listening to Rainbow Valley Dutchman recordings.
Yep.
The Dorschners.
One of the best things that anyone, and it's happened multiple times, but when like people come up to us right after the like show and it's like, it's like, hey, that was a pretty good show. And we're wrapping up chords and we just got to say thanks for like playing, like something bad happened to them. They lost a family member or like pet died, something like that. And it just meant a lot to us. And it's like, oh yeah. You never think about what everyone else is like going through, but music, it really heals. It's awesome. I mean, and someone can have that healing just when they're at home playing piano or guitar or like horn, as it resonates, all that energy, all the sound. But that is some of the best things that someone can come up and say, wow, that's pretty awesome.
a good reminder, right? We always
Yeah.
do need to, I don't think we put enough gratitude into the world or tell people when they really do touch us of what that means and what they've done. So
We're grateful that you could join us this morning, and we're looking forward to hearing some wonderful tunes from you. So we're going to make sure to plug all the websites and the places to get the music that you guys have out there in the description here. Got the web series out there. So we'll make sure people go to check out Copperbox anywhere you're seeing them live. Make sure to get their music, get a physical CD. You might learn something. And go make sure you support your local musicians. And click on the links in the description to learn more about Copperbox and their tunes, and to find out how else you can have music as a part of your life and have some joy and laughter and healing of your own. Visit HeidMusic.com and tune into Sound Underground again for more music like this.
We share what's joy that it brings, and the day you come here might be out for you to see. First stars to shine will be you in the sky. My friend, to start over again, and the people will dance in the streets back at home. You will find another chance. Look around and you are not alone. So glad to see you here in that once empty chair. When the days will get cold, you in my arms I hold. Truth and love, there's no doubt. The road turns bends, you start over.